Jake Morrison had been mopping the same corridor on Starbase Epsilon for 3 years. It wasn't glamorous work, but it paid the bills and kept him close to the stars he'd dreamed of reaching since childhood. The irony wasn't lost on him. He'd made it to space, just not the way he'd imagined. The morning started like any other. Jake wheeled his cart past the diplomatic quarters, nodding to the various alien dignitaries who barely acknowledged his existence. He preferred it that way. Invisibility was a janitor's superpower. Everything changed when Princess Zarathel of the Catherian Empire cornered him in Supply Closet 7. "You," she said, her voice carrying the musical undertones typical of her species. "You will help me?" Jake nearly dropped his mop. The princess stood before him in all her ethereal glory, 7 feet tall with iridescent blue skin that seemed to shimmer in the artificial light, and those distinctive silver eyes that marked Catherian royalty. Her elaborate headdress caught, the fluorescent bulbs casting prismatic patterns on the walls. "Your Highness," Jake stammered, attempting what he hoped was a respectful bow. "I think you have the wrong person. I'm just—" "The custodial engineer," she interrupted. "I know exactly who you are, Jake Morrison of Earth. You are perfect." Jake blinked. Perfect for what? Princess Zarathel began pacing the cramped space, her movements graceful despite the clutter of cleaning supplies. "My father wishes to arrange a marriage between myself and Prince Vortak of the Hegemony. It is a political alliance that would benefit both our empires, but—" She paused, her silver eyes meeting his brown ones. "Prince Vortak is what your species would call a complete waste of oxygen." Despite everything, Jake found himself smiling. "You've been studying human expressions." "I find your species fascinating," she admitted. "Which brings me to my proposal. I need a fake fiancé to present to my father, someone so obviously unsuitable that he will abandon his matchmaking plans entirely." "And you chose the janitor because—" "Because you are human," she said matter-of-factly. In my father's eyes, there could be no worse choice, no offense intended. None taken, I guess. Jake leaned on his mop handle. "But why would I agree to this? Fake royal engagements sound like a good way to end up in an airlock." Princess Zarathel's expression grew serious. "Because if I marry Prince Vortak, the trade agreements between our empires will destroy human colonies in the Outer Rim. Vortak sees your species as expendable labor." That changed everything. Jake had friends on those colonies, former academy classmates who'd found work in the mining operations. What exactly would this fake engagement involve? Attend one formal dinner with my father and his council. Act human. Be yourself. They will be so appalled that they will immediately begin seeking alternative political arrangements. Jake considered this. And after the dinner, we stage a dramatic breakup. I return to Catheria single, my father abandons his matchmaking, and your colonies remain safe. It was insane. It was also the most important thing Jake had ever been asked to do. "All right, princess, I'm in." 2 days later, Jake found himself in a borrowed dress uniform that was only slightly too small, standing beside Princess Zarathel in the Starbase's most elegant dining hall. The Catherian delegation filled one side of the massive table, their blue skin and silver eyes creating an otherworldly tableau. Across from them sat various ambassadors and dignitaries, all eager to witness this unprecedented announcement. Emperor Thanakor, Zarathel's father, commanded attention simply by existing. His presence filled the room like gravity, and when he spoke, even the station's background hum seemed to quiet in respect. "My daughter tells me she has chosen a mate," the Emperor said, his voice carrying across the hall. "A human." Jake felt every eye in the room focus on him. This was it. The moment where he was supposed to be so embarrassing that the Emperor would immediately reject the match. Instead, something else happened. Jake thought about his friends on the colonies. He thought about the years he'd spent dreaming of the stars, only to end up cleaning them. He thought about what it meant to be human, not perfect, not powerful, but stubborn and hopeful and unwilling to give up. He stood. "Your Imperial Majesty," Jake began, his voice steady. I won't pretend to be worthy of your daughter by your standards. I'm not royalty. I don't command fleets or rule worlds. I clean floors for a living. A murmur ran through the assembled dignitaries. This was going exactly as planned. But, Jake continued, I know what it means to work for something better. Every human does. We're not the strongest or the smartest, or the most advanced species in the galaxy, but we don't give up. When we see something worth fighting for, worth protecting, we don't back down. Emperor Thanacor leaned forward slightly. Your daughter asked me to help her avoid a marriage that would hurt innocent people. She could have chosen deception or political maneuvering. Instead, she chose to trust a janitor with the truth. That tells me everything I need to know about Princess Zarathel's character. Jake looked at the princess, then back at her father. I may not be suitable by your standards, Your Majesty, but I promise you this. Any species that would dismiss humans as unworthy is making a grave mistake. We're survivors, we're innovators, and we're loyal to those who show us respect. The room fell silent. Emperor Thanacor studied Jake for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. Interesting. Tell me, Jake Morrison of Earth, what is it you truly want? Jake took a breath. I want to fly. I want to explore the galaxy and see what's out there. I want to be part of something bigger than myself. And you believe cleaning floors will achieve this? No, Your Majesty. But it's what I can do right now while I figure out the next step. Something that might have been approval flickered in the Emperor's silver eyes. Rise, Jake Morrison. You are no longer a custodial engineer. Jake blinked. I'm not? You are now a diplomatic attaché to the Kytherian Empire. Your first assignment will be establishing cultural exchange programs with the human colonies. The Emperor's gaze shifted to his daughter. As for this engagement, we will discuss it further. In private. As the formal dinner dissolved into smaller conversations, Princess Zarathel approached Jake. That was not the plan, she said softly. No, Jake agreed. It wasn't. But maybe the plan was wrong. Perhaps, she said, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Perhaps humans are more suitable than I initially calculated. Jake grinned. Your Highness, you have no idea. Outside the viewports, the stars beckoned, and for the first time in years, Jake Morrison felt like he was exactly where he belonged.